beloved souls. Today, I invite you to step into the sacred atmosphere of gratitude, for prayer is not only the asking, it is the receiving, the knowing, the assurance that what you long for is already yours. True prayer begins with thanksgiving. When you bow your heart in thanks, you are declaring that God has already answered. Gratitude is the seal upon the unseen gift. When you give thanks before the blessing appears, you prove your faith, and faith is the substance that makes the invisible visible. Prayer is not a repetition of words. It is the quiet acceptance of your desire fulfilled. It is entering into the inner chamber of your imagination and feeling yourself already clothed in the blessings of God. When you pray this way, with thanksgiving, you are no longer reaching outward, but awakening inward. What you inwardly assume with gratitude will shape itself into your world. If you would attract abundance, thank God now as if abundance were already flowing. If you seek healing, rest in gratitude as though wholeness were already yours. If you desire peace, give thanks as though you already dwell in it. Every answered prayer is born in this sacred union of thanksgiving and faith. When the heart is full of gratitude, the doors of heaven swing open and life responds with blessings pressed down, shaken together, and running over. So, let your prayer today be simple. Thank you, Father, that it is already done. In this spirit of gratitude, walk as though every blessing has already been poured upon you, and surely you shall see it unfold. Gratitude is the silent yet powerful language of the heart that unlocks the infinite flow of blessings from God. It is not simply a polite expression after receiving something, it is a spiritual state of being that aligns us with the divine source of abundance. When we choose to dwell in gratitude, we shift our awareness from lack to fulfillment, from longing to receiving, from fear to faith. In this state, the heart becomes receptive and the channels of divine blessings open wide. Gratitude is not passive, it is creative. It does not wait for visible signs before giving thanks. It thanks in advance, and in doing so, it magnetizes the unseen into form. When one lives with a thankful heart, life itself responds differently. Gratitude changes perception, and perception changes reality. What was once considered ordinary becomes miraculous when seen through grateful eyes. Even the smallest gifts of life, the breath in our lungs, the light of a new day, the presence of love, become sacred when acknowledged with thanks. Gratitude multiplies what we have because it shifts us into the awareness that we already live in abundance. When we thank God sincerely, we are testifying that His goodness is ever present. And this very testimony calls forth more goodness into our experience. A grateful heart is magnetic. It attracts joy, prosperity, peace, and opportunities that would otherwise remain hidden. Gratitude dissolves resistance because it anchors us in acceptance and faith. Instead of fighting against circumstances or complaining about what seems missing, gratitude declares, "It is already well." This declaration invites harmony to replace discord, provision to replace lack, and clarity to replace confusion. Gratitude is the doorway through which divine blessings enter, because it carries within it the energy of fulfillment. Think of gratitude as watering the garden of your soul. Every thankful thought nourishes the seeds of your desires, helping them grow into visible form. Without gratitude, desires remain dry, unwatered, and lifeless. But with gratitude, every seed is given life, nurtured in faith, and brought to fruition. Gratitude does not beg, it assumes. It does not question, it knows. It is the proof that you believe God's promises are already fulfilled in your life. When we live in gratitude, we rise above the noise of fear and doubt. We no longer measure our blessings by appearances alone, but by the unshakable truth that God's abundance is endless and already flowing toward us. Gratitude turns every moment into prayer and every prayer into manifestation. It makes the heart a vessel open and ready to receive without struggle or strain. Thus, gratitude is not an occasional act but a way of life. It is the golden key that unlocks heaven's storehouse and allows us to walk in continual blessing. To thank God before the blessing appears is to live as though it has already been given, and in that living, the blessing manifests. Gratitude is both the seed and the harvest, the prayer and the answer, the key and the open door. Prayer is far more than spoken words whispered into the silence or recited in ritual. True prayer is a state of consciousness, a deep inner awareness where the soul communes with God beyond the limitations of language. Words may be used to guide the mind, but it is the feeling behind them, the inner state we enter, that carries power. Prayer is not about convincing God to act. It is about aligning ourselves with His eternal presence and promises. When the heart enters into a living awareness of fulfillment, when the imagination is clothed in the end result, prayer has already been answered. Every word without feeling is empty, like a shell without life. But when one shifts into the state of consciousness where the desire is already accomplished, words become unnecessary. It is not the length or eloquence of prayer that brings results, but the depth of conviction within the one who prays. To pray is to step into the inner chamber, shutting out the noise of doubt and dwelling in the stillness where you feel one with your request already fulfilled. In that inner sanctuary, you do not ask as a beggar, you assume as a child of God, who knows his inheritance is secure. Consider prayer as a movement of awareness. If you remain conscious of lack, no matter how fervently you ask, your prayer is bound to return void, for you are dwelling in the wrong state. But if you rise into the consciousness of having already received, your prayer becomes effective because it springs from faith and assurance. It is not about repeating words, but about embodying the end state until it feels real. When that state dominates your inner world, it must outpicture in your external life. Prayer, then, is creative. It reshapes the invisible currents of your mind and molds reality itself. When you enter into the consciousness of health, even if the body shows weakness, that inner assumption begins to draw life into harmony. When you assume the consciousness of abundance, even if outer evidence points to lack, the unseen hand of God rearranges circumstances to reflect your inner state. Prayer is the act of living inwardly in what you seek. And through this inward living, the outer world transforms. To pray effectively is to feel. You must allow yourself to experience the satisfaction, peace, and joy of already possessing what you ask for. This is why gratitude and faith are inseparable from true prayer. They lift the soul out of longing and place it into fulfillment. When you abide in this state, you no longer wonder if God has heard you. You know, because you have entered into union with the reality of your desire. Thus, prayer is not mere words, it is the art of dwelling in the state where your request is already answered. When your consciousness changes, your world changes. To pray is to become what you seek in spirit before it takes shape in matter. And once you abide in that state, the blessing cannot be withheld, for it is already yours. To live in the feeling of already received is to embody the essence of faith at its highest level. It is more than wishing, more than hoping. It is the conscious decision to occupy the state where your desire is no longer something distant, but something accomplished. This is the secret to manifestation, for the world around you always mirrors the state you hold within. When you live as though your prayer has already been answered, you set in motion the divine law that brings the invisible into visibility. Living in the feeling of the wish fulfilled means cultivating the inner atmosphere of completion. If you desire abundance, you do not wait for money to appear before you feel wealthy. You clothe yourself in the inner richness of already having it. If you long for healing, you do not dwell in the awareness of sickness while asking for health. You feel whole, vibrant, and restored now. If you desire love, you do not sit in loneliness begging for companionship. You live in the warmth and joy of already being loved. The outer world may still reflect lack, but your inner world becomes a sanctuary of fulfillment, and soon the outer must conform. The great mistake many make is to live in the state of wanting rather than receiving. Wanting only confirms that you do not yet have, and what you hold in consciousness repeats itself in experience. But receiving, even in imagination, declares that it is already done, and life responds accordingly. When you live in the state of already received, you step into the creative dimension where time bends and the unseen begins to arrange itself in your favor. This way of living is not forced, it is gentle yet powerful. It requires the willingness to let go of appearances and embrace faith in the unseen. It is not about pretending or denying reality, but about choosing to align with a higher truth. When you accept that what you desire is already granted in the spiritual realm, you cease striving and begin resting. That rest is not inactivity. It is the still confidence that allows divine power to flow without obstruction. To sustain the feeling of already received, imagination becomes your greatest ally. Close your eyes and step into the scene of your answered prayer. See yourself living in it, hear the sounds of it, feel the joy it brings. The more real it becomes within, the sooner it materializes without. The subconscious accepts this inner experience as truth and begins to shape your outer world to match it. This is the creative law at work. What you inwardly assume with persistence must eventually express outwardly. Living in the feeling of already received transforms life into a continual act of thanksgiving. You no longer approach God with desperation, but with gratitude. You no longer wait in uncertainty, but walk in assurance. This consciousness opens doors, creates opportunities, and draws blessings without struggle. It is the secret of answered prayer, the foundation of true faith, and the key to attracting all that you desire. Aligning thought and imagination with divine abundance is the sacred art of bringing the mind into harmony with the limitless source of all supply. God's abundance is infinite, unchanging, and ever-flowing, but it can only be experienced to the degree that our thoughts and imagination are open to it. When the mind is clouded with worry, lack, or limitation, we cut ourselves off from the flow, not because God withholds, but because we resist receiving. The moment we train our thoughts to dwell on abundance, and allow our imagination to see ourselves already living in it, we align with the divine current, and blessings begin to unfold naturally. Thought is the seed of creation, and imagination is the soil in which it grows. Every outward experience is born first in the unseen realm of the mind. If thoughts are filled with scarcity, the imagination paints pictures of struggle, and life dutifully reflects this state. But when thoughts are lifted to the truth that God's supply is endless, the imagination begins to form images of provision, joy, and sufficiency. These inner images are not mere fantasies, they are the blueprint of reality itself. Whatever is consistently imagined with feeling becomes the substance of life. To align with divine abundance, one must first recognize that lack is an illusion. The earth overflows with provision, opportunities, and resources. It is only the mind's narrow vision that sees emptiness where God has placed plenty. By shifting thought from "there is not enough" to "all that I need is already provided," we open the gates of imagination to envision greater possibilities. This new vision becomes the silent prayer that calls abundance forth into tangible expression. Imagination is the workshop of faith. When you picture yourself surrounded by blessing, living in joy, or walking in freedom, you are not indulging in daydreams. You are shaping the unseen forces of creation. The subconscious does not distinguish between what is real and what is vividly imagined. It accepts the dominant images you hold as fact and begins to arrange life in alignment with them. This is why aligning imagination with abundance is so powerful. It writes the script that life must perform. This alignment requires discipline. The mind has a tendency to wander into doubt and fear, but every time we redirect it toward abundance, we strengthen the connection to divine supply. It is like tuning a radio to the right frequency. Once the station of abundance is found, the music flows clearly. Through meditation, affirmation, and especially thanksgiving, thoughts can be trained to rest in abundance rather than lack. As these thoughts settle deeply, the imagination naturally paints brighter, fuller pictures, and life begins to reflect them. When thought and imagination move together in harmony with divine abundance, miracles seem to occur. Opportunities appear, doors open, and provision comes in ways the rational mind could never predict. This is not chance, but the natural outworking of spiritual law. As within, so without. To align with abundance is to remember who you are, a child of the infinite, already connected to all that is good. And once you think and imagine from this truth, abundance becomes not something to chase, but something you continually live in. Thanksgiving is the bridge that carries desire into manifestation. To desire without gratitude often leaves the soul in a state of longing, always reaching yet never touching. But the moment thanksgiving enters, the desire shifts from something far away to something already possessed. Gratitude declares that the prayer is answered, that the promise is fulfilled, and in that declaration lies the secret to manifestation. Thanksgiving is the language of faith. It signals to the universe that what you seek has already been granted, and therefore it must appear in your world. When a soul gives thanks even before the evidence arrives, it testifies to its trust in God's unfailing provision. Gratitude is not bound by appearances. It sees beyond the visible into the invisible reality where all things already exist. To give thanks while still waiting is to rise above waiting altogether. It is to step into the finished work of God and claim it as your own. In this way, thanksgiving is not a polite afterthought, but a creative force that draws the unseen into form. Every desire begins as a seed planted in the heart. Without gratitude, that seed may remain dormant, buried in soil but never watered. Thanksgiving is the water that nourishes the seed of desire, causing it to grow, expand, and break through into visible life. Each word of thanks is like sunlight to that seed, giving it strength to move from the hidden realm into manifestation. The more consistent and heartfelt the gratitude, the stronger the growth and the swifter the harvest. Thanksgiving also purifies desire. It lifts desire out of the realm of desperation and anchors it in faith. A desperate heart says, "I hope it happens." A grateful heart says, "Thank you, it is already done." This shift in consciousness is what transforms. Gratitude dissolves doubt, calms fear, and establishes certainty. It allows you to rest in the joy of already having, even when the outer world has not yet revealed it. And once the inner state is secured, the outer world must align. It is important to understand that thanksgiving is not mechanical repetition of words, but a genuine feeling of appreciation. You must feel the warmth, the joy, the relief of already having received. When you say thank you with conviction, you are living in the end, and that end begins to shape itself into your life. Gratitude carries with it an energy that magnetizes circumstances, people, and opportunities to fulfill what you have already accepted in spirit. The truth is that manifestation is not something you strive to make happen. It is something you allow by aligning with God's abundance. Thanksgiving is the posture of allowing. It is the opening of the heart, the surrender of struggle, and the joyful acknowledgement that you are already blessed. In this state, desires lose their strain, for they have become realities within you. And what is real within must in due time become real without. Thus, thanksgiving is not the end of prayer, but the very heart of it. It is the moment desire is transformed into possession, longing into fulfillment, and hope into certainty. To live in gratitude is to live as though the prayer has been answered, and in that living, the answer appears. Every blessing begins as an inner conviction, long before it ever takes form in the outer world. Nothing in life appears by accident. Every event, every provision, every answered prayer has its root in the unseen soil of consciousness. What we hold as true within ourselves inevitably finds expression in the realm of appearances. The mistake many make is to look outward for proof before cultivating the inner assurance. But the law of life is clear. First comes the conviction, then the manifestation. Conviction is more than a passing thought. It is a deep knowing, a settled feeling that something is already done. It does not waver with changing circumstances, nor does it collapse under delay. Conviction is a state of being, an inner possession of the blessing before the hands can touch it. When you carry this certainty, life must yield to it. The world around you becomes compelled to rearrange itself until it reflects what you already know to be true within. This is why blessings do not come through struggle or begging, but through alignment. To beg is to confess lack. To align is to rest in conviction. When you stand inwardly convinced of God's abundance, you no longer chase blessings. They are drawn to you. The conviction itself becomes the magnet, attracting all that matches its vibration. Just as a seed contains the pattern of the tree within it, conviction contains the full shape of the blessing. It may be invisible for a time, but its unfolding is inevitable. The power of conviction lies in its ability to silence doubt. Doubt may whisper that nothing is changing, that the blessing is too far away, that circumstances are against you. But conviction answers, "It is already mine." This unshakable assurance does not arise from evidence, but from faith. It is born in the stillness of communion with God, where you feel the truth of His promises pressing upon your heart. From that moment forward, no appearance can dislodge it. Every outward blessing you have ever received, be it health, provision, or opportunity, was once only a conviction within you. You believed in its possibility, perhaps even without realizing it, and that belief created the channel for it to appear. Likewise, every future blessing you seek must first be claimed inwardly. To hold the conviction of abundance is to guarantee its eventual expression. To carry the conviction of peace is to summon circumstances that reflect harmony. To establish the conviction of answered prayer is to assure its outward fulfillment. This is the creative law at work, as within, so without. Life is not responding to your words alone, but to the conviction behind them. You may say 1,000 prayers, but if doubt fills the heart, little will change. Yet one silent moment of pure conviction is enough to move mountains. The outer world is but a mirror, faithfully reflecting the reality you hold within. Thus, the secret to attracting blessings is to cultivate conviction first. Live inwardly as though the blessing is already yours. Feel its reality, rest in its certainty, and give thanks for its completion. Once the conviction is established, the blessing must appear, for it has already been born in the only place it truly matters, within you. Beloved, prayer is not a distant cry into the heavens, but the living state of gratitude, conviction, and faith within you. Every blessing you seek is already present in the unseen, waiting for you to claim it by thanksgiving and belief. When you align your thoughts with divine abundance, live in the feeling of already received, and hold the conviction that it is done, your life becomes a continuous unfolding of God's goodness. Desire transforms into fulfillment, and prayer becomes answered prayer the moment you give thanks. Walk then in gratitude, in faith, and in assurance, for heaven's storehouse is never empty. The blessing is yours, already given, already complete, already done. Way to say thanks. Thank you for joining me in this sacred reflection. May your heart remain open, your faith unshakable, and your life filled with blessings overflowing.
Ladies and gentlemen, let us turn our attention to the quiet, transformative power of the chosen woman. She is not marked by wealth, beauty, or status, but by the depth of her awareness and the alignment of her soul. The chosen woman knows that her true power lies within her. She does not need the approval of the world because she understands a sacred truth. Her imagination is the creator of her reality. What she believes about herself becomes her world. When she says, "I am," she is not speaking of what she hopes to be, but of what she knows she already is. A woman who knows her power comes from within is unlike anyone else. She walks through life with a quiet confidence, aware that her strength does not depend on the opinions or validations of others. This realization sets her apart, for she understands that external circumstances are merely a reflection of her inner state. Her power is rooted in her understanding of self, a profound awareness that the source of all she seeks already resides within her. This kind of woman does not cling to titles, possessions, or the fleeting approval of society. She knows that such things are transient and cannot define her worth. Instead, her identity is grounded in her understanding of the divine within her. She recognizes that she is not separate from the creative force that governs the universe, and this realization gives her a profound sense of security. The world may shift around her, but her foundation remains unshaken. Her confidence stems not from arrogance, but from an unshakable faith in her ability to create her reality. The woman who knows her power comes from within understands the nature of her mind and its limitless potential. She sees her imagination not as a whimsical tool, but as the blueprint of her life. What she dwells upon internally will manifest externally. This awareness gives her a sense of responsibility for her thoughts and emotions. She does not allow herself to be ruled by doubt or fear, for she knows that such feelings, if indulged, will create the very circumstances she wishes to avoid. Instead, she chooses to think deliberately, focusing only on what aligns with her highest vision. Because she draws her strength from within, she is not easily swayed by external forces. She listens to her intuition and trusts her inner voice, even when it contradicts what the world around her is saying. This inner guidance acts as her compass, leading her toward choices that resonate with her truth. She does not need constant advice or reassurance from others, for she has cultivated a deep connection with herself. This ability to trust her inner knowing allows her to move through life with clarity and purpose. This woman is also resilient in the face of challenges. When adversity arises, she does not crumble or look for someone to rescue her. Instead, she turns inward, accessing the reservoir of strength that lies within her. She understands that every obstacle is an opportunity for growth, a chance to discover even more of her innate power. She does not view difficulties as punishment or misfortune, but as a natural part of the journey toward becoming her highest self. Her ability to remain centered in the face of hardship inspires those around her, though she does not act for recognition or praise. Her inner power also makes her self-sufficient. While she values relationships and enjoys the companionship of others, she does not depend on anyone to complete her. She knows that she is whole as she is, and that her happiness cannot be outsourced. This self-sufficiency allows her to give freely to others without feeling depleted. She shares her time, energy, and love from a place of abundance, not from a need for reciprocity. Her relationships thrive because they are based on mutual respect and shared growth, rather than dependency or control. The woman who knows her power comes from within also understands the importance of self-love. She treats herself with kindness and compassion, knowing that her relationship with herself sets the tone for all other relationships. She does not engage in self-criticism or doubt her worth, for she knows that such behaviors are incompatible with the truth of who she is. Instead, she affirms her value daily, nurturing her spirit with positive thoughts and actions. This self-love radiates outward, drawing people and opportunities into her life that reflect her inner state. Her power is magnetic. People are drawn to her presence not because she seeks attention, but because she embodies authenticity and grace. She does not need to prove herself or compete with others, for she knows that her journey is unique. This authenticity makes her a source of inspiration, encouraging others to look within and discover their own power. She does not diminish others to elevate herself. Instead, she uplifts those around her simply by being true to herself. Above all, the woman who knows her power comes from within is free from the constraints of societal expectations, free from the need for external approval, and free from the fears that hold so many back. She moves through life with a sense of ease and flow, trusting that all she needs will come to her at the right time. Her faith in the unseen allows her to embrace uncertainty without anxiety, for she knows that her inner world will always create her outer reality. This woman is a living testament to the truth that all power is internal. She shows us that when we stop looking outside ourselves for validation, answers, or strength, we discover the infinite wellspring of potential that has been within us all along. And in doing so, she not only transforms her own life, but also inspires others to awaken to their own inner power. A woman who walks alone yet feels complete carries a presence that is both rare and profound. Her solitude is not a burden, but a sanctuary, a place where she finds clarity, strength, and unwavering peace. While many seek companionship to fill a void or distract from their inner struggles, she embraces solitude as a path to self-discovery and fulfillment. She is not afraid of being alone, for she understands that true completion does not come from others, but from within herself. Her ability to walk alone is not born out of necessity or isolation, but from choice. She values her own company and recognizes the immense power that comes from standing independently. In the quiet moments of solitude, she connects deeply with herself, nurturing her mind, body, and spirit. She does not look to others to validate her existence or provide her with a sense of purpose. Instead, she finds these things in her connection to the divine within her, a connection that reminds her she is never truly alone. This woman does not fear silence. In fact, she thrives in it. While the world around her clamors for attention, noise, and distraction, she retreats to the stillness within. It is in this quiet space that she hears the whispers of her soul, the guidance of her intuition, and the answers to questions she once sought externally. She understands that silence is not emptiness but a gateway to greater understanding. It is in these moments of solitude that she learns the most about herself, discovering her desires, her strengths, and her boundless potential. Her sense of completeness stems from her profound self-awareness. She knows who she is, what she stands for, and what she desires in life. This clarity allows her to walk alone with confidence, unshaken by the opinions or judgments of others. She does not seek to conform to societal expectations or fit into molds that do not align with her truth. Instead, she charts her own path, guided by her inner wisdom and unshakable belief in herself. This independence is not a rejection of others, but a declaration of her freedom to be herself. A woman who feels complete within herself does not fear the absence of relationships or companionship. She understands that being alone is not the same as being lonely. While she cherishes meaningful connections, she does not rely on them to feel whole. Her relationships are an extension of her wholeness, not a patchwork to cover emptiness. This allows her to love others freely, without attachment or neediness. She gives from a place of abundance rather than lack, making her connections genuine and fulfilling. Her solitude is a source of strength. In walking alone, she has learned to rely on herself, to trust her instincts, and to face challenges head-on. She knows that her resilience is not dependent on anyone else's support or approval. This self-reliance does not mean she rejects help when it is offered, but she does not depend on it. She has faced her fears, her doubts, and her insecurities in the quiet of her solitude, emerging stronger and more self-assured. Every step she takes alone reinforces her belief in her own capabilities. Walking alone also gives her the freedom to focus on her growth and dreams without distraction. She uses her solitude to cultivate her talents, pursue her passions, and build a life that aligns with her vision. She is not weighed down by the expectations of others or the need to compromise her values to fit into someone else's plan. This freedom allows her to create a life that is uniquely her own, one that reflects her deepest desires and highest aspirations. Her ability to feel complete in solitude inspires others. In a world that often equates worth with relationships, she stands as a reminder that self-love and self-awareness are the foundations of true happiness. People are drawn to her not because she seeks attention, but because her independence and authenticity radiate a quiet confidence. She shows others that it is possible to be content and fulfilled without constantly seeking external validation. This woman is also deeply connected to her spirituality. Whether she views this as a connection to the divine, the universe, or her higher self, it is this relationship that sustains her. She feels the presence of something greater guiding her, supporting her, and reminding her that she is never truly alone. This spiritual connection fills her with a sense of peace and purpose, allowing her to walk her path with grace and courage. A woman who walks alone yet feels complete embodies a profound truth that our worth and happiness are not determined by our relationships, achievements, or external circumstances, but by the love and acceptance we cultivate within ourselves. She is a living testament to the power of self-awareness, self-love, and inner strength. Her journey is not about isolation but about wholeness, a wholeness that comes from embracing who she is and trusting the path she is meant to walk. A woman who commands rather than pleads understands the profound truth about her worth, her power, and her ability to shape her reality. She knows that to beg or plead is to operate from a place of lack, but to command is to stand firmly in the knowledge that she is already worthy of all she desires. This approach is not rooted in arrogance, but in certainty, a quiet confidence that stems from the awareness of her inner authority. She understands that the world does not respond to desperation, but to conviction. Her command begins with her understanding of self. She sees herself not as a victim of circumstance, but as the creator of her experiences. This realization changes everything. Instead of seeking permission or validation from others, she declares her desires boldly and confidently. She does not ask the universe, society, or those around her to make room for her. She creates the space she needs and steps into it unapologetically. Her commands are not about forcing or controlling others, but about aligning with the natural flow of her inner power. When this woman speaks, she does so with intention. Every word she utters carries weight, because she understands the creative power of language. She is deliberate in her declarations, knowing that her words have the ability to shape her reality. She does not waste time with "if only" or "I wish," for these phrases suggest doubt and hesitation. Instead, she speaks in terms of "I am," and it is done affirming the truth of her desires as though they are already accomplished. This language of certainty transforms her life, drawing opportunities and experiences that match her unwavering belief. Her ability to command stems from her alignment with her inner being. She does not command from a place of ego or entitlement, but from a deep understanding of her connection to the divine. She recognizes that she is not separate from the source of creation, but an integral part of it. This connection allows her to trust that what she declares is already being brought into existence. Her faith is not in external forces, but in the power of her own belief, and this faith allows her to move through life with confidence and ease. This woman does not settle for less than what she knows she deserves. She does not lower her standards or compromise her values to appease others or avoid conflict. Instead, she sets clear boundaries and expects them to be honored. This expectation is not rooted in entitlement, but in self-respect. She knows that by commanding respect from others, she teaches them how to treat her. And if someone cannot meet her standards, she does not plead for their understanding or acceptance. She simply walks away, knowing that her worth is not determined by someone else's ability to see it. This woman's ability to command, rather than plead, also means she is not easily swayed by rejection or setbacks. She does not see a closed door as a reason to give up or question her worth. Instead, she views it as a redirection, an opportunity to align more closely with her desires. Her faith in herself and the power within her remains unshaken, even in the face of temporary obstacles. She knows that what is meant for her will come to her, not because she begs for it, but because she commands it with certainty and trust. Her presence inspires others. She does not demand attention or approval, yet people are drawn to her because of the strength and clarity she exudes. She shows others that it is possible to live with dignity and purpose without compromising oneself. Her ability to command respect, opportunities, and fulfillment is a testament to the power of self-belief and alignment with one's inner truth. This woman stands as a reminder that we are not here to plead for scraps from the table of life. We are here to command with confidence, to declare our worth, and to step boldly into the lives we are meant to lead. Her strength is not in what she demands from the world, but in the faith she has in her own power to create it. A woman who lives in the end carries an unshakable confidence in the realization of her desires. Her mind is not preoccupied with how or when things will unfold. She lives in the state of fulfillment, as if her dreams are already accomplished. This way of being is not an act of pretending or hoping. It is a deep, inner knowing. She understands that creation begins in the imagination, and that her thoughts and emotions shape the reality she experiences. Her power lies in her ability to dwell in the feeling of her desires already realized. Instead of being consumed by doubts, fears, or obstacles, she centers herself in the joy, peace, and satisfaction of having already achieved her goals. She envisions herself in the life she desires, allowing this vision to permeate her thoughts, words, and actions. To her, this is not wishful thinking, but a deliberate practice of aligning with the reality she knows is hers. This woman does not waver. When challenges arise, she does not allow them to pull her away from her inner vision. She sees setbacks not as defeats but as temporary illusions that will soon dissolve as her desired reality takes shape. Her focus is unwavering because she knows that what she consistently holds in her imagination will eventually manifest in her life. This faith is the foundation of her strength, enabling her to remain calm and composed even in the face of uncertainty. Her ability to live in the end influences every aspect of her life. In her relationships, she does not dwell on fears of rejection or inadequacy. Instead, she imagines and feels the love and connection she desires as already present. This transforms her energy, making her magnetic to the type of relationship she seeks. She does not chase or beg for affection, because in her mind she is already loved and cherished. This self-assurance creates a powerful aura that naturally attracts those who align with her vision. In her career, she does not approach her ambitions with desperation or anxiety. She does not focus on the gap between where she is and where she wants to be. Instead, she embodies the mindset of someone who has already achieved her goals. She walks, speaks, and acts as if her success is inevitable. This confidence opens doors and opportunities that others might miss, as she is attuned to the possibilities that align with her desired outcome. Living in the end requires discipline, but it is a discipline rooted in joy and trust. She makes a conscious effort to redirect her thoughts whenever they stray into doubt or negativity. She understands that dwelling on what is unwanted only serves to perpetuate it. Instead, she chooses to dwell on what brings her peace and fulfillment. This mental practice becomes second nature to her, a way of life that consistently reinforces her inner vision. This woman does not concern herself with the opinions or doubts of others. She knows that her vision is her own, and that it does not require external validation to become real. While others may question her choices or doubt her dreams, she remains steadfast in her belief. She understands that her imagination is the blueprint for her reality, and that the world will eventually conform to the picture she holds within. Her confidence is quiet but undeniable, rooted in the unshakable conviction that what she imagines is already hers. Her ability to live in the end also means she is not consumed by impatience. She does not measure time by what has not yet happened, but by the fullness of her inner experience. To her, the feeling of having already achieved her desires is as real and satisfying as the physical manifestation. This detachment from the need for immediate results allows her to remain peaceful and grateful in the present moment. She trusts that everything is unfolding perfectly and that her desires are on their way to her. She does not permit just anything to enter her mind. She filters out the noise of the world, rejecting thoughts and ideas that do not align with her highest vision for herself. She is aware of the constant bombardment of opinions, fears, and distractions from outside sources, and she chooses to remain centered and grounded. She does not give her energy to gossip, criticism, or negativity, knowing that such things can easily take root and grow if allowed. Instead, she focuses her attention on what uplifts, empowers, and aligns with her inner truth. Her mental discipline is not born out of fear, but out of love for herself and her dreams. She values her peace and clarity too much to allow them to be compromised by fleeting doubts or external chaos. When negative thoughts arise, and they inevitably do, she does not fight or suppress them. Instead, she observes them with detachment, acknowledging their presence without letting them take control. She replaces them with thoughts of possibility, gratitude, and strength, shifting her focus back to what she desires to create. This woman is deeply selective about the information and influences she consumes. She understands that what she feeds her mind shapes her perception, and ultimately her reality. Whether it is the media she watches, the books she reads, or the conversations she engages in, she chooses wisely. She surrounds herself with inspiration, wisdom, and positivity, knowing that these elements nourish her mind and keep it aligned with her purpose. She does not allow toxic or limiting beliefs to infiltrate her sacred space, for she knows the cost is too great. Her inner world is her sanctuary, and she treats it as such, She takes time to cultivate stillness and silence, creating space for reflection and connection with her inner self. Through practices like meditation, journaling, or simply moments of quiet, she ensures that her mind remains clear and focused. These moments are not indulgences but necessities, allowing her to reset, recharge, and realign with her intentions. By guarding her mind, she creates an environment where creativity, intuition, and clarity can flourish. She is also conscious of the power of her words and how they reflect the state of her mind. She speaks with intention, understanding that her words are extensions of her thoughts and carry the energy she wishes to manifest. She avoids speaking in self-defeating or limiting ways, choosing instead to affirm her strength, capability, and worth. Her language reinforces the sacredness of her mental space, keeping her focused on what is possible rather than what is lacking. This woman's ability to guard her mind extends to her interactions with others. She is mindful of the company she keeps, surrounding herself with those who respect her boundaries and uplift her spirit. She does not entertain relationships that drain her energy or fill her mind with doubt. While she is compassionate and understanding, she does not allow others to project their fears or insecurities onto her. She knows that protecting her mind is not about shutting people out, but about discerning what aligns with her truth and what does not. Her guarded mind is not a fortress of rigidity, but a sanctuary of intentionality. She remains open to growth, learning, and new perspectives, but she filters them through the lens of her values and vision. She is not swayed by every passing trend or opinion, but remains anchored in her own inner guidance. This balance allows her to remain adaptable without compromising her integrity. The results of her guarded mind are evident in her life. She exudes a sense of calm, focus, and strength that others cannot help but notice. Her clarity of thought translates into decisive actions, and her unwavering belief in herself propels her toward her goals. She faces challenges with resilience, knowing that her mind is her greatest asset and her strongest ally. No matter what life throws at her, she trusts in her ability to navigate it with wisdom and grace. This woman teaches us the importance of treating our minds as sacred spaces. She reminds us that what we allow into our consciousness shapes not only how we see the world, but also what we create within it. By guarding her mind, she creates a life of purpose, peace, and fulfillment, showing us all that the key to transformation begins within. A woman who radiates grace and strength is a presence that commands attention without demanding it. Her power lies not in what she says or does, but in who she is. Her essence speaks louder than words. She moves through life with a quiet confidence, knowing that her strength is not something she needs to assert aggressively, but something she embodies effortlessly. Grace and strength are her natural states, and they shine through her every action, decision, and interaction. Her grace is rooted in her ability to remain composed in all circumstances. She does not allow the chaos of the world to disturb her inner peace. Whether faced with adversity, success, or uncertainty, she carries herself with dignity, choosing to respond rather than react. Her calm demeanor inspires trust and respect, as others sense her unshakable inner stability. This is not a facade, but the result of her deep self-awareness and understanding of the transient nature of external circumstances. Her strength, however, is not loud or forceful. It is quiet, but undeniable. She possesses an inner fortitude that allows her to persevere through life's challenges. This strength is born from her ability to embrace her vulnerabilities rather than hide from them. She understands that true strength comes from acknowledging her fears, doubts, and pain, and then rising above them. This acceptance of her humanity makes her resilient, for she knows that every setback is an opportunity for growth. She carries herself with grace not to impress others, but because it aligns with her values. She is kind, compassionate, and considerate, yet these qualities do not make her weak. On the contrary, they reveal the depth of her strength. It takes courage to remain kind in a world that can be harsh, and it takes fortitude to maintain compassion when faced with cruelty or indifference. Her grace is not about perfection, but about being genuine and intentional in her actions. Her strength is reflected in her ability to set boundaries and stand firm in her convictions. She does not bend to please others or compromise her integrity for approval. While she is empathetic and understanding, she is not afraid to say no when necessary. This balance between grace and strength ensures that she is not taken advantage of, and it allows her to protect her energy and focus on what truly matters. She does not seek to control others, but instead exercises control over herself, her emotions, reactions, and choices. Her grace extends to the way she treats herself. She does not berate herself for her mistakes or shortcomings, but approaches herself with kindness and forgiveness. She understands that self-compassion is not indulgence but necessity, for it is the foundation of her strength. By nurturing her well-being, she ensures that she can show up fully in her relationships, work, and life's pursuits. Her ability to be gentle with herself sets an example for others, showing them the power of self-love and acceptance. In her relationships, she radiates grace and strength through her ability to communicate with clarity and empathy. She listens deeply, speaks thoughtfully, and seeks understanding rather than dominance. She does not engage in unnecessary conflicts or dramas, choosing instead to prioritize harmony and mutual respect. Yet, she does not avoid confrontation when it is necessary to uphold her principles or advocate for what is right. Her strength lies in her ability to navigate challenges with integrity and wisdom. This woman's grace and strength are also evident in her presence. She does not need to seek validation or approval, for she is secure in her worth. This self-assurance makes her magnetic, as others are drawn to her calm confidence and authenticity. She does not try to be someone she is not, and this genuineness inspires those around her to embrace their own uniqueness. Her presence alone is a reminder of what is possible when one lives with alignment and intention. Her grace and strength are not qualities she was necessarily born with, but ones she has cultivated over time. She has faced trials that tested her resolve and experienced moments that required her to rise above her fears. Through it all, she chose to learn, grow, and evolve. Her grace is the result of her ability to find beauty in life's imperfections, and her strength is the outcome of her refusal to give up, no matter the odds. This woman reminds us all that grace and strength are not mutually exclusive. They complement each other, creating a harmony that is both powerful and inspiring. She teaches us that true strength does not need to dominate but can coexist with gentleness, and that true grace is not about being flawless but about being authentic. In her we see the embodiment of a balanced and empowered life, one that radiates beauty, resilience, and purpose. In this journey of understanding the essence of a chosen woman, we see that her power lies in her ability to walk with purpose, strength, and authenticity. She knows that her worth comes not from external validation, but from her alignment with her inner truth. She lives intentionally, commanding her reality rather than pleading for it, guarding her mind as a sacred space, and embodying grace and strength in every facet of her being. She understands the profound truth that her world is shaped by her thoughts, her actions, and her unwavering belief in herself. This woman does not merely exist, she thrives, radiating an energy that inspires those around her. She is a testament to what is possible when one chooses to live deliberately, refusing to settle for anything less than the life she envisions. Her story is a reminder to us all that we hold the power to create, to rise, and to embody the extraordinary. Thank you for joining me in this exploration of the chosen woman's qualities. May her journey inspire you to step into your own power, live with intention, and shine with the brilliance that only you can bring to this world. Ladies and gentlemen, do not waver in your declarations. Even when the outer world shows no sign of change, persist in your inner knowing. Speak these lines every morning with unwavering confidence, for they carry the power to transform your reality. Awareness is the foundation upon which all creation begins. It is the very essence that gives birth to your reality. Before anything can manifest in your external world, it first takes shape in your awareness. Without awareness, there can be no creation, no desire, no transformation. It is the seed that plants your deepest desires and dreams into the fertile soil of the subconscious mind, where they begin to grow and eventually materialize in the physical world. You must understand that everything you experience, everything that surrounds you, begins with your awareness. The way you see the world, the way you perceive yourself, and the way you believe things work, all stem from the lens through which you observe life. Your awareness shapes your thoughts, your actions, and ultimately your destiny. Consider that your awareness is not just passive observation, it is active. The moment you become aware of something, you begin to focus your energy upon it. Whether it's a problem, a desire, or a goal, the very act of focusing your awareness on it activates the process of creation. This is why it's crucial to guard what you place your attention on. The energy you direct toward an idea, whether positive or negative, will start to build and grow. Like a plant that needs light to grow, your awareness feeds the thoughts and beliefs that will ultimately shape your external experience. When you become aware of something, you bring it into your consciousness, and in doing so, you give it life. If you wish to create a different reality, the first step is to become aware of what you want to manifest. This is not merely a mental exercise, it's a state of being. Awareness is not about thinking about something, it's about embodying the idea that your desire is already a reality. Your awareness must align with the energy of the outcome you seek, not just the desire itself, but the feeling of already having it. Awareness is not something that can be forced. It cannot be rushed. It requires patience and practice. Becoming aware of your inner world, of your deepest desires, requires you to sit in stillness and reflect. It asks you to listen to the whispers of your soul. It requires you to quiet the noise of doubt, fear, and distraction, so you can hear the true calling of your heart. This is where the process of mindfulness becomes powerful. Mindfulness teaches you to direct your awareness to the present moment, and it is in the present moment that all creation occurs. When you focus on the now, without regret for the past or anxiety for the future, you align yourself with the universal flow of energy. In this state of alignment, creation happens effortlessly. When your awareness is grounded in the present, it becomes a powerful tool for manifesting your desires. Your awareness also holds the key to transforming your inner dialogue. What you focus on in your mind, what you affirm in your thoughts, becomes a reflection of what you experience in your life. If you are constantly aware of limitations, lack, and fear, then those are the things that will continue to manifest in your reality. But if you shift your awareness to abundance, possibility, and success, those things will also become your reality. So awareness brings attention, and attention brings energy. Energy moves toward the focal point of your awareness, which is why your mindset plays such an integral role in the creative process. You are the master of your awareness. You have the power to decide where your focus goes. When you become intentional about where you place your awareness, you are choosing what your life will become. It is the most powerful tool you have in your ability to create. By cultivating an awareness of the present moment, an awareness of your desires, and an awareness of your own power, you become the conscious creator of your world. In this way, awareness truly is the seed of all creation, for it is the starting point of every thought, every idea, and every experience that eventually unfolds in your life. When you declare something as already yours, you are stepping into a state of complete alignment with your goals. You are not waiting for the universe to respond or for circumstances to change. Instead, you are assuming the feeling of already having what you desire. This is not about merely speaking words, it's about embodying the feeling that your desire has already been fulfilled. This shift is the difference between a dream and its manifestation. The act of declaring what you desire as already yours requires you to fully trust in the power of your own mind. The mind does not distinguish between what is real and what is imagined. It simply follows the instructions you give it. By declaring your desire as already yours, you are programming your mind to act in accordance with this truth. Your subconscious begins to see it as a reality and starts working to bring that reality into the physical world. This practice of declaration is powerful because it shifts your vibration. When you speak as if your desires are already yours, You align your energy with the frequency of abundance, success, and fulfillment. Your words carry a vibration that resonates with the universe. The energy of your desires, now embodied in your speech and thoughts, begins to attract the conditions necessary for your desires to manifest. This is the essence of the law of attraction. Like attracts like. When you declare your desires as already yours, you begin to walk in that belief. You carry yourself with the confidence of someone who has already achieved their dreams. This energy is contagious. Of people, opportunities, and circumstances will begin to align with your vibration, as if they are responding to the certainty you exude. The more you declare what you want as already in your possession, the more you will see evidence of it appearing in your life. This practice also helps to dissolve the barriers of time and space. Many people see time as a barrier to their desires, thinking that it will take years for their dreams to manifest. However, when you declare that your desires are already yours, you collapse the illusion of time. You begin to experience the joy, the abundance, and the success of already having it, and in doing so, you shift the timeline of your manifestation. To declare what you desire as already yours is to take ownership of your future now. It is to claim what is rightfully yours, to affirm that nothing can stand in the way of your desires coming to fruition. The world responds to your certainty. When you believe it is already yours, the universe moves to make it so. By embodying this belief and speaking it with conviction, you are commanding your desires into existence, allowing them to unfold before you with grace and ease. You are the creator of your reality. By declaring what you want as already yours, you align yourself with the power of creation, and in doing so, you bring your desires into your life faster and more effortlessly than you ever imagined possible. Gratitude is one of the most powerful forces in the universe, and it holds the key to unlocking your ability to manifest your desires. It is the gateway through which all manifestations flow, a portal that connects your current reality with the limitless potential of the universe. When you cultivate a deep sense of gratitude, you align yourself with the abundance that is already present in your life. And in doing so, you activate the universal law of attraction to bring more of what you desire into your experience. The act of gratitude is not just a simple acknowledgement of the good things in your life, it is a transformative energy that shifts your vibrational frequency. When you express true gratitude, you are acknowledging that what you desire has already arrived in spirit, even before it has appeared in physical form. Gratitude is a feeling of appreciation for the present moment, a recognition that everything you need is already provided for. This feeling of appreciation amplifies your connection to the energy of abundance, drawing more of it into your life. This works because it changes the way you perceive the world around you. It moves you from a state of lack or wanting to a state of abundance. When you focus on what is already present, rather than what is missing, you begin to notice the countless blessings that surround you. Even in moments of challenge or difficulty, practicing gratitude helps you to see the silver lining, the lessons, and the growth opportunities that are hidden within those moments. This shift in perspective is crucial to manifestation because it opens your mind to receiving more of what you want. The energy of gratitude creates a magnetic field around you, attracting more positive experiences, people, and opportunities into your life. Just like a magnet draws metal objects to it, gratitude draws circumstances and events that are in harmony with your desires. When you are thankful for what you already have, you signal to the universe that you are ready to receive more. The universe responds to the energy you emit, and if that energy is one of gratitude, the flow of abundance increases. It is as if the universe says, "Here is more for you are already in alignment with the abundance of the universe." One of the most powerful aspects of gratitude is that it requires you to live in the present moment. In a world filled with distractions and constant desire for more, it is easy to forget the present and focus only on what is yet to come. However, when you are grateful, you bring yourself back to the now. You stop chasing after future outcomes and instead revel in the richness of the present moment. This is important because manifestation occurs in the present, not in the future. When you are present and grateful, you are aligned with the energy of creation, and that is where the magic happens. Gratitude also shifts your mindset from one of competition and comparison to one of abundance and collaboration. Instead of feeling envious of others or believing there is not enough to go around, gratitude opens your heart to the realization that there is more than enough for everyone. You begin to celebrate the success of others because you understand that their abundance does not diminish yours. This mindset of abundance attracts even more into your life because it sends the message that you are open to receiving and sharing with others, which further activates the flow of manifestation. Another aspect of gratitude is its ability to dissolve fear and doubt. When you focus on the things you are thankful for, your attention is diverted away from worries and anxieties. You stop fearing the unknown, the obstacles, or the things that could go wrong. Instead, you begin to focus on all that is going right, which reinforces your belief that you are on the right path. Fear and doubt are two of the biggest blockers to manifestation because they create resistance and uncertainty. Gratitude replaces that resistance with trust, faith, and a sense of knowing that everything is unfolding as it should. To truly harness the power of gratitude in your life, it must become a consistent practice. This means taking time each day, even in the smallest moments, to acknowledge and appreciate what is around you. Whether it is the warmth of the sun, the smile of a loved one, or the opportunities that are beginning to open up for you, gratitude turns every experience into a potential gateway to manifestation. As you express your thanks, you align yourself more and more with the energy of abundance, and that energy can only attract more of the same. Gratitude, then, is not just a passive feeling or a simple practice, it is an active force that propels you toward the fulfillment of your desires. It is the emotional fuel that powers the engine of manifestation. The more you embrace gratitude, the more you invite the universe to deliver what you have asked for. You are signaling to the universe that you are ready to receive, that you are open to all the blessings it has to offer. And the more you express that openness, the more you will see those blessings begin to flow into your life in miraculous ways. Your words hold creative power, more potent than you may realize. Every word you speak is a vibration that carries with it the energy to shape your reality. Whether you are speaking to others or to yourself, the words you use create and influence the world around you. Words are not just sounds or symbols, they are the foundation of creation. They are tools that can build, transform, and manifest whatever you desire, for they are the bridge between your inner world and the outer reality. What you say both aloud and in your mind becomes your truth. Words are like seeds planted in the fertile soil of your subconscious mind. Just as a seed grows into the fruit it represents, the words you speak will grow into the experiences and circumstances that reflect those words. If you speak with conviction and clarity, your words will align with your desires, pushing them into the physical world. If you speak with doubt or negativity, those words will manifest limitations and obstacles. Every time you speak, you send out vibrations into the universe. These vibrations interact with the world around you, attracting circumstances, people, and situations that match the energy of your words. This is the essence of the law of attraction, like attracts like. If you constantly speak words of positivity, abundance, and gratitude, you will attract those things into your life. If you speak words of fear, lack, or frustration, you will create more experiences that reflect those emotions. The universe has no choice but to respond to the energy you are putting out through your words. It's important to understand that words do not only have power when spoken aloud. Your inner dialogue, the words you repeat to yourself silently, are just as influential. The thoughts you entertain and the language you use internally shape your beliefs, actions, and outcomes. If you find yourself constantly saying, "I can't," or "this will never happen," those words create a barrier, locking you into a reality where your desires remain out of reach. However, if you replace those words with affirmations like I am capable, and I am worthy, you unlock the door to new possibilities. Your words also hold creative power because they are connected to your emotions. Every word carries with it an emotional charge that amplifies its impact. For example, when you say "I am happy," if you truly feel the emotion behind those words, they hold much more power than if you say them without conviction. The emotional charge behind the words intensifies the frequency they emit, creating a stronger magnetic pull on the experiences you wish to manifest. Words without emotion are simply noise, but words spoken with heartfelt intention are the creative force that brings your dreams to life. This creative power is not limited to just personal desires. Words can also influence your relationships, your career, your health, and every area of your life. If you are constantly speaking negatively about a relationship, saying things like "they never understand me" or "this will never work," you are shaping the energy of that relationship to align with those words. On the other hand, if you speak with love, understanding, and gratitude, you will begin to see those qualities reflected in your interactions. The words you use in your daily communication create the foundation for how others respond to you and how situations unfold. The power of words extends to your dreams and goals as well. When you speak about your future, are you speaking with certainty or uncertainty? Are you affirming your desires as already yours, or are you speaking as if they are distant and unattainable? Your words can either reinforce your belief in your ability to succeed or undermine your confidence. If you say, "I am moving toward my goals with ease and grace," you are sending a message to your subconscious mind that you are on the path to success. Your mind then begins to align with that belief, creating the conditions for you to manifest your goals. On the other hand, saying "I will never get there" only keeps you stuck in a state of limitation. One of the most powerful ways to harness the creative power of your words is through affirmations. By speaking words of affirmation daily, you affirm to yourself that you are worthy, capable, and deserving of everything you desire. Affirmations help you reprogram your subconscious mind, replacing old, limiting beliefs with new, empowering ones. By consistently speaking positive words, you begin to shift your energy and the world around you. This shift may not happen overnight, but as you continue to speak with conviction, your reality begins to reflect the words you speak. Your words hold the power to create your reality. They are not just expressions, they are creative forces that shape your life, your circumstances, and your future. By speaking with intention, positivity, and belief, you activate the creative power within you. The universe responds to the energy of your words, and as you speak the language of abundance, love, and possibility, you draw these experiences closer to you. The more mindful and conscious you become of the words you speak, the more you realize the immense power they hold to shape your world. Doubt is one of the most insidious forces that can block the manifestation of your desires. It plants seeds of fear and uncertainty that distort your vision of what is possible. When you allow doubt to control your thoughts, it weakens your ability to believe in your own power to create the life you want. On the other hand, faith is the force that propels you forward, even in the face of uncertainty. To silence doubt and speak faith is to take control of your inner dialogue and begin to direct your life consciously with the unwavering belief that everything you desire is already on its way to you. The act of silencing doubt does not mean that fear or uncertainty won't arise. Doubt is a natural part of the human experience, and it will often try to creep into your mind, especially when you're on the verge of a breakthrough. However, you have the power to override those thoughts with the energy of faith. When you choose to focus on your belief in what is possible, you stop giving power to the doubts that would otherwise hold you back. Faith is not the absence of fear or doubt, but the decision to move forward in spite of it. It is the decision to trust in the unseen, to trust in the process, and to trust in the certainty that your desires are already unfolding. Speaking faith is a powerful tool for manifesting your dreams. Words have creative power, and when you speak with faith, you align your words with your desires. Faith is the language of the universe, the vibration that draws your dreams into reality. Every time you speak words of faith, you are affirming that what you desire is already yours. When you say, "I believe in my ability to succeed," you are sending out a signal to the universe that you are ready to receive. You are also reaffirming this belief within yourself, reinforcing your own confidence and trust in your power. On the contrary, when you speak doubt, you are sending out a message that contradicts your desires. Words like "I can't," "I'm not good enough," or "this will never happen" create an energy that repels your desires. Doubt is a force that sets up resistance, creating a wall between you and your manifestations. These words block the flow of abundance and make it harder for you to attract what you want. The more you speak doubt, the more you reinforce the belief that your dreams are out of reach. The universe responds to the energy of your words. So when you speak doubt, you align with a reality that matches those beliefs. The key to silencing doubt and speaking faith is to make a conscious decision to redirect your thoughts and words. It's about shifting your focus from what you fear might happen to what you know is possible. Start by noticing when doubt arises, and rather than allowing it to take root, replace it with a statement of faith. When a thought like "what if this doesn't work" enters your mind, immediately counter it with "I trust that everything is working out for me." When you find yourself saying "I'm not sure if I'm capable," replace it with "I am fully capable of achieving my dreams and I am on the right path." In this way, you actively train your mind to speak words of faith rather than doubt. You create a habit of choosing faith, and the more you practice this, the more natural it becomes. It becomes easier to trust in the process and to see the possibilities rather than the obstacles. The more you speak faith, the more you cultivate a deep belief in your own power, and this belief is what will ultimately bring your desires into manifestation. Silencing doubt is not about suppressing your emotions or ignoring your fears. It's about choosing to place your focus on what you want rather than what you fear. You do not need to deny the existence of doubt, but you can choose not to let it control you. Instead, you can choose to speak faith and believe in the certainty of your success. Faith is a muscle, and like any muscle, it needs to be exercised regularly in order to grow stronger. By speaking faith each day, you begin to build a foundation of unwavering belief in your ability to create your reality. Every affirmation, every positive word, every declaration of faith is an investment in your future. Over time, this consistent practice transforms your mindset, allowing you to move through life with confidence, knowing that everything you need is already on its way to you. To silence doubt and speak faith is to embrace the full power of your creative potential. When you consistently speak words of faith, you align with the energy of abundance and possibility. The universe responds to your words, and as you continue to speak with faith, you will see the world around you begin to shift. The doors to your desires will open, and the obstacles that once seemed insurmountable will dissolve. By choosing faith over doubt, you not only change your mindset, but you change your reality. You become a magnet for the desires you have already claimed as yours, and you move forward with the knowledge that nothing is impossible for you. You are the author of your day. Every morning when you awaken, you have the opportunity to script your life, to set the tone, and to choose how you will move through the hours ahead. Just as an author creates the narrative of a story, you too have the power to create the narrative of your life each day. The choices you make, the thoughts you think, and the words you speak all contribute to the story you are writing. Whether you realize it or not, you are the one holding the pen, and every moment is an opportunity to choose the direction of your life. The beginning of your day is a blank page, an untouched canvas, and it is up to you how you fill it. You can approach your day with intention, planning the actions and mindset that will help you achieve your goals. Or you can let the day unfold randomly, allowing external circumstances and reactions to determine your emotional and mental state. The key is that ultimately it's your choice. You have the power to take control of your day, to write it in the way you desire, and to consciously create the experiences you want to have. When you understand that you are the author, you begin to see that every moment holds the potential for creation. Your thoughts, beliefs, and intentions are the words that form the sentences of your life. If you think negatively or expect obstacles, that's what your day will reflect. If you wake up with gratitude, confidence, and a clear sense of purpose, you set the stage for a day filled with positive opportunities and outcomes. By consciously choosing your thoughts, you guide the direction of your day, ensuring it aligns with your highest aspirations. The words you speak are also an integral part of the story you are writing. Every statement, whether directed at others or yourself, carries energy that shapes your reality. If you speak words of kindness, encouragement, and affirmation, you are reinforcing a positive, empowering narrative. On the other hand, if you speak words of doubt, frustration, or negativity, you can unknowingly shift your day into a series of struggles and challenges. Just as an author chooses each word carefully to develop a story, you too must choose your words carefully. Each word you speak is a brushstroke that colors your day, and the more conscious you are of the language you use, the more power you have to create the story you want to live. It's also important to recognize that, as the author of your day, you have the power to rewrite your story at any time. If a chapter of your day is not going the way you want, you have the ability to change course. You are not bound by any previous moment or situation. Every minute is a new opportunity to shift your mindset, make a new choice, and reframe your perspective. Just like an author can revise their draft to improve the flow or direction of the plot, you too can revise the course of your day. If something goes wrong, you can choose to view it as a lesson, an opportunity for growth, or a challenge that makes you stronger. You are not a passive observer of your day, you are the one directing it. The way you begin your morning is especially powerful, as it sets the tone for everything that follows. A morning routine that nourishes your mind, body, and spirit can create a ripple effect of positivity and productivity throughout the rest of your day. When you take the time to center yourself in the morning, whether through meditation, visualization, affirmations, or simply taking a moment to be grateful, you are consciously deciding to author a day of success, peace, and fulfillment. The foundation you lay in the morning creates a momentum that carries you through the hours ahead, allowing you to remain focused, clear, and positive no matter what challenges arise. Life is not always smooth, and it's natural to encounter difficulties and obstacles. But remember, even in those moments, you are still the author. How you respond to challenges is just as important as how you begin your day. You have the power to choose how you react, what meaning you give to situations, and what action you will take. Even in the face of adversity, you can choose to stay in alignment with your highest purpose and write a story of resilience and strength. Your power lies in your ability to choose your perspective and response, regardless of external circumstances. Your day is yours to create. You have the power to choose your thoughts, your words, and your actions. Every decision you make shapes your story and contributes to the larger narrative of your life. By becoming conscious of the fact that you are the author, you take full responsibility for the story you are writing. You no longer allow life to simply happen to you. Instead, you actively create the experiences, emotions, and outcomes that align with your desires. So as you move through your day, remember that you hold the pen. Write your story with intention, with purpose, and with the unwavering belief that the life you desire is already unfolding, one page at a time. In conclusion, remember that you are the author of your own day, and by extension, the author of your own life. The thoughts you think, the words you speak, and the actions you take are the building blocks of your reality. Every moment offers you a chance to rewrite the script, to adjust your course, and to create a life that reflects your highest aspirations. By embracing the power of choice and consciously shaping your day, you unlock the potential to manifest your desires and live a life of purpose and fulfillment. Thank you for taking the time to reflect on this journey of self-empowerment. May you continue to write your story with intention and belief, knowing that the life you desire is within your reach. You are always talking to yourself. Even in moments of silence, your mind whispers a constant dialogue. But have you ever stopped to listen? Not merely to hear, but to truly listen to the words you are speaking to yourself? For those words, whether you recognize their power or not, are the architects of your reality. For the next 3 days, I invite you to become the deliberate author of your inner story. Speak to yourself as though you are already the person you long to become. Imagine it, the health, the wealth, the love, the peace, all yours, now. Do not wait for evidence in the world outside, create the evidence within. Tell yourself, I am whole, complete, and radiant. My desires are fulfilled effortlessly. Everything I seek is seeking me. I walk in the assurance that my dreams are already mine. Your inner dialogue is the most powerful tool you possess, whether you are conscious of it or not. Every thought you think, every word you whisper to yourself, forms the foundation of your reality. The conversations you hold within are not idle, they are the architects of your life, silently shaping your experiences, relationships, and the opportunities that flow to you. When you wake up in the morning, what are the first thoughts that cross your mind? Are they thoughts of gratitude and anticipation, or do they spiral into worry and doubt? These initial thoughts are more significant than you might believe. They set the tone for your day, coloring the way you perceive the world and influencing how the world perceives you. You may think that your external circumstances dictate your inner dialogue, but the truth is, it's the other way around. Your internal narrative precedes and creates your external conditions. The remarkable thing about inner dialogue is that it operates as a self-fulfilling prophecy. The subconscious mind, which acts as the silent builder of your reality, cannot distinguish between what is true and what you imagine to be true. It takes every word you feed it as an instruction, a blueprint to follow. If you consistently tell yourself, "I am not good enough, I can't do this," or "I will never succeed," your subconscious accepts these statements as facts and adjusts your reality accordingly. You might find obstacles arising where none existed before, or opportunities slipping away as though they were never meant for you. On the other hand, consider what happens when your inner dialogue aligns with your desires rather than your fears. When you replace negative, self-defeating thoughts with affirmations of success, love, and abundance, you rewrite the script of your life. Words like "I am capable," "I am worthy," and "everything is working in my favor" carry an energy that transforms your state of mind. They elevate your vibration and bring you into harmony with the life you want to live. This process requires awareness and intentionality. Most people are unaware of the endless chatter in their minds, much of which is automatic and influenced by past conditioning. Becoming conscious of your inner dialogue is the first step toward mastery. Pay attention to the words you use when you speak to yourself. Are they words of encouragement or criticism? Do they build you up or tear you down? Awareness alone can begin to shift the balance. Once you've recognized the patterns, the next step is to consciously replace unhelpful thoughts with empowering ones. This isn't about ignoring reality or pretending everything is perfect. It's about choosing the perspective that best serves you. If a challenge arises, instead of thinking, "This is impossible," you might say, "I'll find a way through this." This subtle shift doesn't deny the challenge, it changes your relationship with it. Instead of seeing it as a barrier, you begin to see it as an opportunity to grow. Over time, this practice of deliberate self-talk becomes second nature. It's not about repeating empty phrases or mindless affirmations, but about cultivating a genuine belief in your potential. As you persist, you'll notice changes not only within yourself but also in the world around you. But people will respond differently to you. Circumstances will align in your favor, and what once seemed out of reach will become attainable. The power of inner dialogue lies in its simplicity and accessibility. You don't need special tools or training to begin. All you need is the willingness to listen to yourself and the courage to rewrite the story you've been telling. When you take control of your inner dialogue, you take control of your life. You are no longer a passive participant in your story, but an active creator, shaping your reality with every word you speak to yourself. To assume the feeling of fulfillment is to live in this moment as though your deepest desires are already realized. It is not a mere act of pretending or hoping, but a conscious shift in your state of being. When you embody the feeling of having what you desire, you align yourself with the reality you wish to experience. This is the key to unlocking the life you have always dreamed of, for your inner world dictates your outer reality. The essence of fulfillment begins with imagination. The mind, limitless and boundless, is the canvas upon which all your desires are painted. To assume the feeling of fulfillment, you must first create a vivid image of what you wish to experience. But this is not enough. The image must be accompanied by the corresponding emotion. If your desire is wealth, do not merely picture money in your hands. Instead, feel the freedom, security, and joy that wealth brings. If your longing is for love, do not stop at imagining a partner by your side. Feel the warmth of companionship, the excitement of connection, and the peace of being truly understood. The secret lies in the fact that your mind cannot distinguish between what is real and what is vividly imagined. When you assume the feeling of fulfillment, you impress upon your subconscious mind the belief that your desire is already yours. The subconscious, being non-discriminatory, takes this as truth and begins to orchestrate events, circumstances, and opportunities that align with this belief. Your outer world begins to shift, not by chance, but as a reflection of the state you have embodied. This process does not demand effort in the traditional sense. It is not about striving or forcing outcomes. In fact, the very act of striving often implies a signal to the universe that you believe your desire is still out of reach. Instead, to assume the feeling of fulfillment is to rest in the knowing that what you seek is already yours. It is a state of relaxed confidence where doubt and fear have no place. You may wonder how to achieve this feeling when reality seems to contradict your desires. The answer lies in discipline and persistence. Begin by setting aside time each day to quiet your mind and enter a state of stillness. In this state, free from the distractions of the external world, imagine your desire as vividly as possible. Engage all your senses. See it, hear it, touch it, and most importantly, feel it. Let the joy, gratitude, and satisfaction of already having what you want wash over you. This practice may feel unfamiliar or even uncomfortable. Your rational mind, conditioned by years of focusing on what is, may resist. But with consistent practice, the feeling will become more natural. Over time, it will take root in your subconscious, becoming the foundation upon which your reality is built. What makes this approach so transformative is that it shifts your focus from lack to abundance. When you assume the feeling of fulfillment, you no longer dwell on what you don't have. Instead, you anchor yourself in the energy of already having. This shift not only changes your inner state but also your actions and interactions. You move through the world with a confidence and magnetism that draws your desires closer to you. It is important to remember that assuming the feeling of fulfillment does not mean denying your current reality. It means choosing to see beyond it. It is not about ignoring challenges, but about facing them from a place of strength and assurance. When you embody the state of fulfillment, even obstacles lose their power to derail you. They become stepping stones, guiding you closer to your goal. To assume the feeling of fulfillment is to live as the creator of your reality. It is a powerful reminder that you are not at the mercy of external circumstances. Everything you need to manifest your desires is already within you. By embodying the state of fulfillment, you step into your true power and claim the life that has always been waiting for you. Words are far more than simple expressions of thought. They are seeds of creation, carrying within them the power to shape the reality you experience. Every word you speak, whether aloud or in the quiet chambers of your mind, plants itself into the fertile soil of your subconscious mind. Like seeds planted in a garden, these words take root and grow, eventually blossoming into the circumstances, relationships, and outcomes of your life. The question is not whether your words will create, but what they will create. But consider the nature of seeds. Each one holds within it the blueprint of its potential. A single acorn contains the possibility of a towering oak, just as a word carries within it the energy to manifest its corresponding reality. When you speak words of love, confidence, and abundance, you plant seeds that yield experiences of joy, strength, and prosperity. Conversely, words of doubt, fear, and limitation sow weeds that can choke out the beauty you long to cultivate. The subconscious mind is the soil in which these seeds are sown. It does not discriminate between what is good or bad, true or false. It simply nurtures whatever is planted. If you habitually say, "I'm not good enough, I'll never succeed, or nothing ever works out for me," your subconscious takes these statements as instructions, working tirelessly to bring them to life. It creates conditions that confirm your beliefs, not out of malice, but out of unwavering obedience to the seeds you've planted. On the other hand, imagine the transformative power of planting intentional seeds. What if you began to speak words that reflect the life you wish to live, even before you see evidence of it in the physical world. Statements like, "I am worthy of love, opportunities flow to me effortlessly," and "I am a magnet for success" are not mere affirmations, they are creative commands. When repeated with conviction and belief, they set the wheels of creation in motion, aligning your inner world with the outer reality you desire. The process requires mindfulness and care, much like tending to a garden. A gardener does not plant seeds and then leave the field untended. They nurture the soil, water the seeds, and remove weeds that threaten to overtake the growth. Similarly, you must guard your words and thoughts, ensuring they align with the vision you hold for your life. If a negative thought arises, treat it as a weed to be gently but firmly removed. Replace it with a word or phrase that supports your growth. It's not enough to simply avoid speaking negative words. You must actively cultivate the habit of speaking words of power and possibility. Speak as though your desired reality already exists, for in truth it does, first in your imagination, and then in your external experience. By consistently affirming the life you want, you imprint these desires onto your subconscious mind, which begins to guide your actions, decisions, and perceptions toward their fulfillment. Faith is a crucial element in this process. Just as a farmer trusts that the seeds planted will eventually sprout, you must trust in the unseen forces that bring your words to fruition. There may be a period where nothing seems to happen, where the soil appears barren. But beneath the surface, the seeds are germinating, breaking open, and sending roots deep into the earth. It is during this time that your faith must remain steadfast. The beauty of this principle is its universality. It applies to every area of life: health, wealth, relationships, and personal growth. Words have no limits. They carry the energy of your intention to every corner of your existence. They are the tools by which you carve your destiny, the brushstrokes that paint the masterpiece of your life. You are always planting seeds with your words, whether consciously or unconsciously. Make the choice to speak only what you wish to grow. Speak of abundance, and abundance will find you. Speak of love, and love will surround you. Speak of peace, and peace will fill your days. The garden of your life reflects the seeds you sow. So choose your words wisely, for they hold within them the power to create worlds. At its core, consistency is about commitment. It is a promise you make to yourself to show up, regardless of circumstances. There will be days when motivation wanes, when the initial excitement of a goal has faded, and progress feels slow or invisible. These are the moments when consistency becomes your greatest ally. By continuing to take action, even when you don't see immediate results, you build momentum and lay the foundation for success. The process of consistency is often invisible, much like the roots of a tree that grow beneath the surface before the first signs of growth appear. Imagine a seed planted in the earth. For weeks, perhaps months, nothing seems to happen. Yet, within the soil, the seed is sprouting roots, establishing the strength it will need to sustain its growth. Similarly, your consistent efforts may seem fruitless at first, but they are cultivating the habits, discipline, and resilience required for long-term success. One of the most overlooked aspects of consistency is its ability to rewire your identity. Every time you act in alignment with your goals, no matter how small the action, you reinforce the belief that you are the kind of person who follows through. For instance, if you aim to become healthier, consistently choosing nutritious meals or taking a daily walk signals to your subconscious mind, "I am someone who prioritizes my health over time." These actions shift your identity, making the desired behavior effortless and natural. The beauty of consistency is that it simplifies the path to success. Instead of being overwhelmed by the magnitude of a goal, you focus on the manageable, daily actions that move you closer to it. Want to write a book? Commit to writing 500 words a day. Want to improve your fitness? Start with 15 minutes of exercise each morning. These small actions may seem insignificant, but over time they accumulate into meaningful results. Consistency is also the antidote to impatience. In a world that prizes instant gratification, it teaches you the value of delayed rewards. It reminds you that the most enduring achievements are not those gained quickly, but those earned through steady, persistent effort. When you embrace consistency, you release the need for immediate validation, and trust in the process. The results of consistency are exponential. What begins as small, incremental progress eventually leads to breakthroughs. The compound effect, the principle that small, consistent actions multiply over time, means that the longer you stay consistent, the greater your rewards will be. A single day of effort may seem trivial, but a year of consistent effort can transform your life. Consistency is about faith in your vision, in the power of small actions, and in the unseen forces that guide your efforts. It is the steady drumbeat that drives progress, the quiet determination that outlasts fleeting inspiration. When you commit to consistency, you unlock the ability to create lasting change, proving that true power lies not in what you do occasionally, but in what you do consistently. This faith is not passive, it is an active state of being. It requires you to live as though your desires are already realized. You align your thoughts, feelings, and actions with the reality you wish to create, regardless of what the outer world reflects. This alignment is a declaration to the universe that you trust its processes and timing. It is the bridge between the formless and the tangible, the unseen and the seen. The power of faith lies in its ability to sustain you during moments of doubt or delay. There will be times when progress seems slow, when the path forward is unclear, and when external circumstances appear to contradict your desires. In these moments, faith becomes your anchor. It reminds you that appearances are fleeting and that the unseen forces of creation are always at work, orchestrating events, opportunities, and connections that align with your vision. Faith in the unseen also demands surrender, releasing the need to control every detail of how and when your desires will manifest. This surrender is not a sign of weakness but of profound strength. It is an acknowledgement that there are forces greater than your conscious mind, working in ways you cannot yet comprehend. By letting go of the need to force outcomes, you open yourself to possibilities far beyond what you could imagine. The unseen realm is where imagination and belief play their most vital roles. Imagination is the faculty through which you glimpse what is possible. When you vividly imagine your desired outcome, you plant the seed of its creation in your subconscious mind. But faith waters this seed, nurturing it with the conviction that it will grow. Belief acts as the sunlight, providing the energy needed to bring your vision into reality. One of the greatest challenges of faith in the unseen is resisting the temptation to judge by appearances. The external world often mirrors your past thoughts and beliefs rather than the new reality you are creating. If you allow yourself to be swayed by what you see, you risk falling into doubt and undoing your progress. Faith requires you to look beyond the surface, trusting that the seeds you have planted are growing even when the soil appears barren. Faith in the unseen also transforms how you approach obstacles. Challenges are no longer viewed as barriers but as stepping stones, opportunities to grow stronger and more aligned with your desires. When you trust in the unseen, you begin to see every setback as a redirection, guiding you towards something even better than you originally envisioned. This kind of faith is not limited to manifesting specific desires, it is a way of life. It teaches you to trust in the inherent order of the universe, to believe that everything unfolds for your highest good. It allows you to navigate uncertainty with grace, knowing that you are always supported by unseen forces working tirelessly on your behalf. To have faith in the unseen is to embrace the mystery of creation. It is to stand firm in the knowledge that your thoughts, beliefs, and feelings are powerful forces, shaping the fabric of your reality. When you live with this faith, you align yourself with the infinite possibilities of life, transforming your desires into tangible experiences. This faith is the ultimate creative act, a testament to your trust in the unseen power that governs all things. Self-talk is one of the most profound forms of prayer, yet it is often overlooked. The words you speak to yourself, the internal dialogue that accompanies your every thought and action, hold immense power. It is not simply a mental habit, it is a communication with the deeper aspects of your being, the divine essence within you. When you recognize that self-talk is a constant prayer, you begin to see how each word you utter is a seed, carrying the potential to shape your life in profound ways. Prayer is often thought of as a formal act word spoken to an external deity or written in sacred texts. But the essence of prayer is much simpler and more intimate. It is the alignment of your thoughts and feelings with what you desire. Your self-talk performs this function continuously, shaping your beliefs, emotions, and ultimately your reality. Whether you realize it or not, every time you speak to yourself, you are setting the tone for what you expect from life and what life will reflect back to you. Imagine that your inner dialogue is a direct conversation with the infinite creative force within you. This force, whether you call it God, the universe, or simply your subconscious mind, listens attentively to every word. It takes your self-talk as instruction, translating it into the experiences, opportunities, and challenges you encounter. If your inner dialogue is filled with fear, doubt, and self-criticism, you are praying for limitation and struggle, even if that is not your conscious intention. Conversely, when your self-talk is rooted in love, confidence, and faith, you are praying for abundance, peace, and success. The key to transforming your life through self-talk as prayer is awareness. Many people operate on autopilot, repeating negative or limiting beliefs without realizing the impact. These internal scripts, often formed in childhood or through past experiences, become habitual, shaping their reality in unintended ways. The first step is to become conscious of your inner dialogue. Pay attention to the words you use when you think about yourself, your goals, and your challenges. Are they words of encouragement and hope, or do they echo doubt and fear? Once you become aware of your self-talk, you can begin to intentionally reshape it. This is not about ignoring reality or pretending problems don't exist. It is about choosing a perspective that aligns with your highest good. If you catch yourself thinking, "I'll never succeed," gently replace it with, "I am capable of achieving my goals." If you hear yourself saying, "I'm not enough," counter it with, "I am worthy of love and success." These shifts may feel small, even insignificant, but over time they rewire your subconscious mind, creating a new foundation for your beliefs and actions. Self-talk as prayer also involves emotion. Words alone, without feeling, lack the power to move the creative forces within you. When you speak to yourself, infuse your words with genuine emotion. Feel the joy of success, the peace of love, or the excitement of new opportunities as though they are already yours. This combination of intentional words and heartfelt emotion sends a powerful message to your subconscious mind, reinforcing the reality you wish to create. Patience is essential in this process. Just as a farmer does not plant seeds and expect a harvest the next day, you must give your self-talk time to take root and bear fruit. Trust that your consistent, intentional words are working behind the scenes, even when you see no immediate results. Faith in the unseen is the foundation of all effective prayer, including the prayers you speak to yourself. Self-talk as prayer is about reclaiming your creative power. It is about recognizing that you are not a passive participant in life, but an active co-creator of your reality. That every word you speak to yourself is a choice to align with fear or faith, limitation or possibility, scarcity or abundance. By choosing your words wisely and speaking to yourself with love, confidence, and gratitude, you harness the power of prayer to transform your life from within. In doing so, you become the architect of a reality that reflects your deepest desires and highest aspirations.